and I'm really glad being here with you today. My name is Jelena Petrovic, and I'm a senior BIM manager at BEXEL Consulting and a member of BEXEL team for more than 13 years. Later, my colleague Alexander Ilic will join me, and together, during today's one-hour session, we will present you one of the workflows in the use case of creating tendering packages. Considering that the project can include large amount of data, information, and analysis, this use case will provide you how we can use only segment of a BIM model and data related to specific BIM model elements, including efficient cost analysis for the certain group of works which is actually the subject of tendering process. All this will be done using BEXEL Manager in synergy with our BEXEL Common Data Environment presented on BEXEL Sample Project 1 Residential Complex 2 Towers. First, we will go through main insight of BEXEL Common Data Environment, and you will learn how to manage projects, versions, roles and permissions. You will learn how to create new online project, how to publish new project version to the cloud. Within BEXEL Manager Integrated Environment, we will go through the process of creating custom breakdowns based on specific rules, and you will learn how to visualize these elements in different colors using color-coded view. Furthermore, you will learn how to automatically connect BIM model elements with your cost database and how you can analyze project costs on such multi-levels. Later on, we will go through the process of creating interactive Power BI dashboard based on existing BEXEL template, and you will learn how to add this project to our cloud solution, as well as how you can customize this template for specific needs. At the end, we will have 2 Power BI dashboards created and BIM model version published to our cloud solution, which can be available for certain project participants interested in this segment of tendering process. Before we start today's topic, let me briefly introduce with our company. BEXEL Consulting is a software development and consulting company specialized for BIM in construction. We have almost 2 decades of software development experience, and our consulting services are used on a global level for the last 15 years. Our main product is BEXEL Manager. More information about us and our software ecosystem you can find on our web page. And don't forget about our help center and BEXEL user area, so visit them and improve your BEXEL Manager skills. Just to remind you that you can send your comments or questions in the chat section of the streaming platform you're using. Our colleagues will make sure to answer all your questions by the end of the session. Let's overview how our cloud solution looks like. BEXEL Common Data Environment contains 4 modules: BEXEL Viewer, BEXEL Docs, BEXEL FM and BEXEL Portfolio Manager. Today's focus is on BEXEL Viewer, but also other modules such as BEXEL Docs can be really useful. Here we can store well-organized whole documentation related to the certain project, and it will be available for all participants with certain access rights. Beside numerical and graphical documentation for each project stage, including initial project stage, design phase, detailed project phase, there can be stored documentation related to construction phase, such as certificates, attests, approvals, contracts, monthly payments and certificates, and similar documentation. Also, this documentation can be linked to certain BIM model elements, so we can easily visualize elements within BEXEL Viewer related to specific document. Here we see when I select element in a viewer, they are filtered documents in BEXEL Docs module, documents which are linked to previous element selection. When we have project version opened with loaded BIM model sources, we can explore our project within BEXEL Viewer. We see all selection sets publish automatically through project version publishing process from BEXEL Manager desktop application, which I'm going to explain later during this session. Managing selection sets is also available, creating of new selection sets, adding and removing elements from them. We can turn on and turn off elements within Viewer, either using Explore section on the left side here, or commands available with right-click on the main 3D viewport. Custom Breakdown section is also available, as well as a section with reports. We can use a custom breakdown module, also automatically published from the BEXEL Manager desktop application, and all custom breakdowns marked during publishing process are available now on the cloud. The elements are colored in different colors based on the rules defined during custom breakdown creation within BEXEL Manager. We can easily navigate our model to desired element or group of elements we are interested in. More about animation and about smart 4D and 5D planning within our cloud solution we will present on our next webinar, and you will learn how to, in just a couple of minutes, create very attractive and detailed 4D simulations. And you don't need schedules from Primavera or Microsoft Project, since BEXEL Manager will automatically generate schedule based on BIM model only. So follow us and stay informed about our next webinar date. I would like to mark that all property data layer which comes with loaded sources we can explore within BEXEL Viewer. Inspect Property command provides us an overview of element properties where we can filter elements based on certain property value. Furthermore, we can overview property values and create selection based on them. I choose one property here, and with click on View Property Values, we can see all values of this property within new open window. Furthermore, we can choose either we want to overview values only for selected elements or all elements, but also visible elements only. If I select here windows and interior doors for all elements within the project, with simple click on Select command, elements are selected within Viewer. Please do not hesitate to explore all existing functionalities within our BEXEL Viewer, such as managing selection sets within Viewer, properties overview, BCF collaboration, B-model animation within Viewer as well, and many other existing features. All ideas and recommendations from your side are really welcome, so write us and we will see how we can even more improve our solution to become more useful for your specific needs. Let's go to overview BEXEL Common Data Environment with the listed projects. For all of you who are new to our Common Data Environment, we need to be logged into our cloud application first. At the moment, based on the initial system setup, you could log in either to BEXEL CDE hosted on European server or to BEXEL CDE US hosted in the USA. Once we log in with assigned credentials and access rights provided by the account manager, and after obtaining CDE licenses, you will be able to see all projects in which your account is assigned or projects that you are administrating. BEXEL Common Data Environment is opened in browser, and here on a project main page we can see projects listed. For all these projects I have related role. Using available options on the main project page, We can show and list more projects to which we have access. Filtering options are available in each of these columns with project information. Also, we can sort project lists differently. So this way we can filter, choose and organize our project list as we need. Now I will show you how we can create new online project. Simple click on Create New Project command and fill all details such as project name and description. Let's call our new project project number 1, for example, and I will not add any description, but it can be also added if it is needed. Choose which BEXEL products will be included. In this case, I leave both of offered, BEXEL Viewer and BEXEL Docs. Click on Create New command and our new project has been created and we can find it within project list. This project is currently empty without any project version, but it is ready and available for adding project versions either through BEXEL Manager publishing process or just by adding BIM model IFC sources directly on our cloud solution. When we click on the Create Online Project Version command and enter certain version details, it appears within project versions list, but further actions will include adding IFC sources from BEXEL Viewer, so BIM model will be available to users. Now I'm going back to project list and I will open one project version within sample project we are going to use today for demonstration purposes. The project name is Sample 2 Towers. The Open command here on the project page opens the latest published project version, and this is really useful in case when we have lots of project versions published online, but we need only the latest one. Okay, to overview all published versions related to our sample project, click on Manage Project Versions command and all project versions are listed here. For some of these listed projects, I am administrator, and for several of them, I am just a user. As an administrator, I can manage project users. So we click on Manage Project Users icon in the right side of the screen, and User Management window opens. Here, I can add new project users and define their role on the project. I will add only users which are interested in certain tendering process for structural and facade works. So only them will be available to see expected costs of construction and facade works. I'm adding one person now. User Management window is opened with listed users included to our selected project. To add new user, we click on Add New User command and window opens where we add new user by entering his name. Here we define user role on the project. The user role stays just as user, and here we check which BEXEL products will be included, BEXEL Viewer and BEXEL Docs. Click on Add New User command and user will be added to our sample project 2 Towers. What is new here is that I can edit previously defined user role and change BEXEL products included by click on Edit Project User icon. New window opens where we can make desired changes. And of course, I can remove user from the user list with simple click on Delete Project User command. Once we add new project user, they will be notified by email. They are included into certain BEXEL CDE online project. Let's go to BEXEL Manager desktop application to show process of publishing new online project version for our sample project 2 Towers. But before that, we will, in several simple steps, prepare our model for publishing to BEXEL Common Data environment. So we will get a BIM model version published online with only BIM model elements related to structural and facade works, and we will generate cost analysis only for these works. So we will have BIM model for tendering process related to structural and facade works ready online. Several IFC files were federated within BEXEL Manager BIM environment, and this model contains more than 120,000 elements. Beside the many geometrical properties this model initially has, it has been enriched with new properties within BEXEL Manager, either manually or, as we recommend, in an automatic way using our data enrichment engine. Here I will mark several properties with which our BIM model has been enriched and which are important for our use case. These properties are related to specific classification and expected contractors on the project. So we have properties such as uniform assembly code, uniform assembly description, and subcontractors. Why these properties are important? First, we can create custom breakdown based on these properties, and second, properties related to classification are used for element queries within our cost database. When we upload BIM model to our cloud solution, custom breakdowns will be uploaded with project version and also available online for all users involved in the project. Click on Custom Breakdown section here. We see that there are already several custom breakdowns created. To create new one, choose New command, where we enter the name of custom breakdown we are creating. In this case, it will be just uniform assembly code because the created custom breakdown will be based on these properties values. After that, we choose selection of elements, and I will include all elements by checking building number 1 option. With the right click, we add rules for our custom breakdown that will be created. It will be based on properties, so we choose, beside many other options we see here, we choose property option. Now we should select property, and here we can see all existing properties listed. I will filter by typing property name and choose uniform assembly code. To color code our new custom breakdown, click on Set Color Coding Rule command. With Refresh command, we can see how our system will colorize different property values. And we can change colors as we want, but now I will leave just like it is automatically created. Click on OK command, and our new custom breakdown has been created. To see our BIM model colored in different colors based on uniform assembly code property values, choose Perspective Color Coded View and click on Custom Breakdown Viewer Mode. We notice that the elements are colored in different colors depending on uniform assembly code property value. I will create one more custom breakdown based on the property subcontractors, so we will have an overview of our expected subcontractors on the project. Click the New command and repeat previously explained process. In this case, our custom breakdown will be based on subcontractor property. We do color coding, and now we have our new custom breakdown created where elements are colored in different colors based on subcontractor defined property. We can easily navigate to desired BIM model elements which are related to certain subcontractor and overview our model in such efficient way. I will turn off surrounding elements so we have but better overview of elements within color-coded 3D view. Simple selection of desired subcontractor within custom breakdown, and elements are selected. So we can easily inspect properties of selected elements and have a really quick overview of quantities. Of course, creating quantity takeoffs is one option besides summary of quantities we see within Property Palette here on the right side of the screen. Let's go further and see how our cost classification looks like. Here we have cost classification, which is actually uniformat classification. It can be created with resources defined within it, including material, labor, and equipment. Furthermore, it has unit price and quantity type for each cost item defined, and quantity formula for automatically calculation of cost estimation. Also, element queries are defined based on element properties, including previously mentioned uniformat assembly codes, for example. Once we have classification in this way created, it can be reused on similar projects which contains predefined element properties with no or very small modifications. This will increase your efficiency and save time for cost estimation on further projects. Now we can assign cost classification to BIM model elements. Select parent task we want to assign and do right-click on it. We can assign only segment of our classification by selecting desired cost items or the parent task, but now I choose the whole classification structure. Click on Auto Assign Cost Items and we will choose option for creating new cost version. Once the process of assignment is finished, we can overview cost estimation of our project within BEXEL Manager Cost Estimate module. We should select elements related to our today's main subject, structural and facade works. From my experience, there are always several ways to do such selection within BEXEL Manager, but I think that existing selection sets we have here within BIM model would be good choice. These selection sets folders are organized by planned tendering packages, so I choose group of elements related to tender number 1, structural and facade works. When elements are selected, we can filter our cost estimation by simple click on Filter by Element Selection command, and we can overview separately cost estimation for each of these works or all together if all elements related to these works are selected. Select just facade works and overview estimated cost. Also, we can select cost items and filter on which exact elements these cost items is assigned with Select Element command. Select foundation works and overview estimated costs, main construction and expected costs, and all together also. Of course, cost breakdown structure we see here is based on our previously assigned classification, but using Creation Wizard we can reorganize work breakdown structure as we need. I will make a copy of this cost version and ungroup assignment within it. Click on Duplicate command and enter new cost version name. Ungroup assignment by click on Ungroup command. Using Creation Wizard, we can regroup assigned items. Here we define rules how our cost version breakdown structure will look like. First rule will be based on selection sets we have defined for our tendering packages group. After that, we repeat this action, but now it will be based on each tendering package selection set group. Further, our new cost version will be divided by uniformat-based classification. We repeat this action as much time as we want to add different levels of classification. Here I'm adding 4 classification levels. Cost breakdown structure can be also divided by other rules such as buildings, building stories, categories, and by other existing options. Furthermore, it can be created by using templates. Now we can overview cost estimation related to our tender package for structural and facade works. Filter by element selection option is on, so here we see work breakdown structure only for our tender number 1. But if I turn this option off, we will see all breakdown structure for all tendering packages we have already defined. We can also select elements for each of these group of works. Do right-click and click on Select Element option. Before we go further, I'm going to quickly rename our first costs version, which is based on classification. I will call it version number 1. So we have created 2 cost versions. First one is grouped by classification and second one is grouped by tendering packages defined by selection sets and classification as well. If we turn Custom Breakdown section, we can also see our model visualized in different colors depending on previously defined rules. And down here within Cost Estimate module, we can overview and differently filter cost estimation of our works. Let's publish, finally, our project version to BEXEL Common Data Environment and create Power BI report for our tender related to structural and facade works. First, we should select elements that we are going to publish, so I will do just right-click to our tender number 1, structural and facade works, and click on Select Elements command. Okay, now when we have selected elements here in the viewport, we can go to publish our project version to the cloud. We should go to BEXEL Common Data Environment tab here and click on New Version command. Once the wizard is open, here we choose a project where we are going to upload our project version. So it's already marked here, sample 2 towers, but we can see all projects I have permission listed here. So it stays sample 2 towers project is a project where I want to upload new project version, and I will define project version name. Okay, click on the next command. And here we define which elements are going to be uploaded. So in this case, I will choose just selected elements and how we are going to divide our model. So we have options by source, by category or selection sets. In this case, I will choose selection sets and I'm going to divide our model using selection sets for tender number 1, structural and facade works, and it will be divided like facade system, foundation expert, general contractor, and doors and windows premium contractor. Okay, click on next command, and here we choose selection sets we are going to upload to our new project version. I will leave all of them here, and of course we have these selection sets which are related to tender number 1 and we used for dividing our model. Click on next command. Here we should check custom breakdowns which will appear within our cloud solution. So here we can see that we have custom breakdown we have created previously for subcontractors and uniform assembly code, and then click on finish command. We should wait for a while until the process of publishing our model is finished. Once the process of publishing is finished, we go to BEXEL Common Data Environment, and within listed projects we find our sample 2 towers project. Within project version list, we find project version we have just published and open it. Now, the project version can be explored within BEXEL Viewer online. Let's go further to publish our Power BI report. Go to Manage tab here, and within the Power BI section we choose Publish Report with BEXEL Viewer, and we will publish 5D estimation template. Power BI Export Wizard opens, and here system recognized already projects, but we can see listed all projects I have permission to. And here we choose project version which will be related to our Power BI report. So I'm using tender number 1, structure and facade works. We will use selected elements which are related only for our tender, and auto-load models. So models will be automatically loaded when we activate Power BI. Go to Next command, and here we choose cost versions for export. I'm going to use versions that we have been creating during this session. These are cost version number 1 and cost version number 2. Click on Next command, and here we choose custom breakdowns for export, and I will leave all custom breakdowns here. Click on Finish command, and here we choose location where we are going to save our template. So I'm going to save on a local computer and wait for a while until the process of publishing data related to our Power BI report is finished. Process is finished, and we can open our Power BI report and see cost estimation results for our tender for structural and facade works. We go just to refresh data command and wait for a while until the data has been refreshed. Once the process of refreshing data is finished, I can save this file locally and upload to BEXEL Docs, so my colleague Alexander will be able to open this document and do further analysis. To upload created Power BI template with cost estimation to our cloud solution, I will open BEXEL Common Data Environment. Project version is opened, and we go to BEXEL Docs module. I will upload the reporting folder I have already created, tendering reports, and we select desired folder where we want to upload the document, and click on Add Files command. By click on Select Files, we choose file we want to upload, and after we check in the action, our Power BI template with cost estimation will be uploaded to the cloud. Furthermore, I will link this document to BIM model elements, so select model elements in a BEXEL viewer. Here I select all elements related to our tendering package, and with simple click on Link command, this file is linked to previously selected BIM model elements. This way, all participants with certain access rights will be able to see our BIM model and whole documentation related to our project within BEXEL cloud-based solution. This was all from my side. My colleague Alexander will continue explaining you further topics of today's session, including our Power BI report analysis and its customization. Thank you for your attention, and Alexander, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jelena, for generated information, for generated data. So now I'm entering our common data environment location, and I'm going to open the same model that was exported by Jelena. So I'm going to open tender package 1, structural and facade work. I'm going to load the model files. And I'm going to navigate to the folder where Jelena saved tendering report. So we're going to just click on the document title and download a file to the local computer. So this is our downloaded Power BI dashboard that was exported by a colleague. Helena, that was uploaded to our CDE environment. And here we can see that we have two BIM cost versions that were exported. As you can see, that template is a standardized template that was developed based on our experience from multiple projects and multiple users. And together with plenty of predefined templates, you can just simply export it directly from BEXEL Manager. On the other hand, for specific users, for specific project needs, you would sometimes need to customize these reports. So in tendering phase, tendering team was able to integrate standardized cost classification with specified cost breakdown by material, labor, equipment, and other cost supplements. So that means they didn't specify exact resource for every cost item, but they specified which percentage of that cost item is dedicated to one of these four supplements. In the further stages of the project, mainly in the execution stage of the project, exact resources will be probably assigned to every specific cost item. And in that case, we're going to be able to utilize these specific visuals. At the moment, those are not of use. And the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to just remove these three visuals from our report. So the next thing we can do, we can just utilize this freed up space to improve visibility of our table. Another simple but effective change is modification of your background. You could just simply click outside of any visual, go to the formatting page, and you could modify the background so easily you can just remove the generic image that was specified in our standardized report. You can simply change the color of the background, so keep it simple with a solid color, or just browse another image as well. So we could try something different in this case to customize it a little bit. Of course, you can easily change the logo, add the logo of your company, and of course, further modify the color scheme of the standardized report. So all of these aesthetic changes are very easy to make and very effective. Besides this, one of the first things that we're going to do on today's report is to customize the table. Since we had this information that resources are not integrated at the moment, add that for the standard tendering procedure, we would probably not going to need material, labor, and equipment supplement because that's going to be defined by the tender participants itself. We can just simply click on the table. And the good thing about visuals is that you can easily, in visualization tab, when you select any of the visuals, see the data that is present in the visual itself. So in this case, in this table, we can see simply what is specified in the rows and what is specified within the values tab. So the rows represent the hierarchy of the table and values represent the columns of this table. And in this case, we can see that since this was a standardized report, we included a lot of different useful information that are present in BEXEL Manager, but maybe for the purpose of customizing report and making it simpler, maybe we can just remove some of the information that is not essential for that specific user. So let's say material cost, labor cost, equipment cost, other cost, and subcontractor cost would be removed from this table in order to simply free up the space and to focus more on some other relevant data for the tendering participants. On the other hand, since we removed a lot of specific data categories, we can maybe simply increase the font size, let's say, of this data to be easily readable. So again, just select the visual, go to the formatting table, and then simply just go to the values, and you can just simply increase the size of the values. Of course, we can adjust the column width as well to make room for the bigger numbers. Of course, we're going to also increase the size of the column headers so that user could easily read column values. and as well as row headers, which will increase visibility of our descriptions and cost item names. So again, a little bit of customization. And right now we have pretty clear information. We have pretty clear focus about what we actually need to present in this specific phase for this specific user. We go back to build visual window and again go through and analyze the structure of this specific visual. We can also see that the hierarchy of our table, of our data, of our cost, is organized by cost items and current levels of these cost items. That means that also this hierarchy is something that could be subjected to changes and customization. So on the right side, we can see all the available data sets that are by default exported from the central BIM model from BEXEL Manager to the Power BI. So in these data sources, we can just find plenty of additional information that could be combined and used in order to customize your report. So for instance, this hierarchy is specified in the cost assignment, and we predefine this hierarchy by going by parent levels, which is default breakdown of the cost data by simply the hierarchy of the costs. So if I just simply remove some of these levels, we're gonna see this change reflected in our table. So let's say I can make just completely plain list of all the cost items with no specific definition of the headings and subheadings of work. Of course, I could always recreate this by simply putting back all of these levels of cost classification structure. I have ability to extend or subtract this hierarchy and this division. So in this case, we're going to use location properties to increase depth of our cost hierarchy. Spatial information or the story name, building name, and all the properties name is always exported in the properties part of your data set. And here you can see some of the basic properties. And story name is one of these properties. So let's say if we just want to see the same data, so the same budget with the same hierarchy of cost, just divided by floor, let's say after the parent level 1. On the next level, we want to subdivide it by floor and only on the level below it, just to continue with the uniform classification in this case, we could just simply find this story name property and just insert it between parent level 1 and parent level 2. And we're going to immediately get completely different organization of our table. So right now, if we extend it, we can see that in every group of works, we now have division by floor and then further division to the sub items and cost item descriptions for every specific group of work. We can also include some specific project specific properties because as of now we were using properties that are, we can say, standardized properties, systematic properties that are created directly within the authoring tool, BIM authoring tools. But this time, let's say here, if you remember, in this project, we also have information like a tendering package, which is specific, project specific information that was added to certain elements in the model by the tendering team. So they just simply decided which part of the building will be assigned to which tendering package and then sent to the tendering procedure. And besides the tendering package, we also have subcontractors. That means that, again, our tendering team just specified roughly the groups of works that will be dedicated to certain subcontractors within these tendering packages. So if we want to use these properties in our report, we could again very easily navigate to these properties in our data set because these properties are also by default exported by BEXEL Manager. So those properties are not available in the properties data group right away. So we need to go and find them, and that's again very simple task. So you basically just go to the home and go to Transform Data tab, which will open directly the data sheets. And we can just find the properties table, and in Apply Steps, we just have to find a specific step that is called Choose Properties. I'll go to the Choose Properties part and simply choose the property that you need. So in this case, we're going to add subcontractor because we want to have that category also for breaking down the data in our model. And we're going to find the tendering package property as well, tender package that was populated by our tendering team. We're going to just click OK, and we're going to just say close and apply. So if we go back to the properties data set, we're going to see that we have newly added properties. So just to clarify, all the properties that are present in the model are exported to the data set of the standardized dashboard. They're just not all loaded at once in order to keep data sources clean and easy to navigate. But if you actually know what you want, if you know which properties, which specific properties you want to retrieve from that database that is under the hood, you could just easily, following this workflow that I explained, find those properties and you can utilize them in your specific dashboard. So let's say, for example, here we want to include tendering package above the current level one, let's say. So here we can see that we have tender one, structural and facade work. So in case that we, let's say, exported multiple tendering packages at once, we could just simply organize this cost classification by tendering packages if we need to send the same report to multiple bidders, let's say. If we want further to subdivide these tendering packages by subcontractor, again, with no problem, we're going to just use that property and just place it between tender package level and parent level one. And then we will have our cost classification subdivided in this way. So we have seen how we can reorganize mainly the data in this one visual dedicated to the table. But the beauty of Power BI is in the powerful presentation engine that gives you opportunity to present the same data in a multiple in a different way. So besides the table as the most obvious and most traditional way of presenting the cost classification and tendering package in this case, we can also go and check some other charts that are available in this case, like the specific pie chart that actually shows you division of the cost by the cost supplement or by the cost classification items. Again, here, as in the case of the table, we also have multiple levels of hierarchy, which could be seen and used in the same way as in the table. Total cost by cost supplement, in this case, is not as relevant for our specific use case because we said that we are customizing our report for the tendering phase. And we already organized cost classification by tender packages and subcontractors. So maybe it would be very useful for us, for instance, in this specific case, to change, to modify this graph and to just simply remove the supplement costs and to use the total cost that we have in cost assignments. So we're going to use the total cost as the value. And this time, I would propose to use subcontractor as a property to show us which percentage of the defined budget in the tendering phase should go to which subcontractor in this case. So to sort of see which subcontractor should get more or less a bigger part of this tendering package. And on the other hand, let's say for this graph on the left, I would say that it's not really practical. Maybe we could use this to actually see, let's say, how much cost goes for every story in this building. Again, we're going to see that since we have building with more than 20 floors, it is not really practical maybe to present it in this way. So maybe the best way would be just to simply change the visual. So in this case, probably the most practical visual would be some sort of the bar visual. So we're going to check. This one would be probably the one that is the most useful here with a small utilization. Maybe we can just a little bit rearrange it in terms of how big our visuals are to give it more space for the one that represents costs by floor. Simply like this, let's say. We can then go and customize it in terms of, let's say, how big the text is for the floor names, for instance, and we can change the color of it. Maybe we can even color code every story differently by putting it into the legend. Then we're going to see that probably this is not the most suitable type of the visual. If we switch to stacked bar and use the story name, we're going to see that it is better. So we would see different color for every story. If we, let's say, try to experiment and say, okay, let's try with a subcontractor in the legend, we're going to then see exactly for every subcontractor in which areas, in which floor it's going to be actually focused. And the last part that we could maybe modify is those slicers that allow you to go and to basically organize and break your model by some default settings. Some of these categories in our specific case could be useful. Some of them are probably not that useful. So maybe we could change them with different parameters that we were actually using to organize our data. So let's say I would like to have probably subcontractor here instead of maybe building name. So I could just select this slicer and instead of field building name, I could use subcontractor here. So you could then directly go and navigate through the model and just see, let's say, the groups of works of general subcontractor and simply use your slicers with the data that is useful for that specific case. On the other hand, maybe some of these slicers are obsolete, so I would say that family one should be deleted. Classification level fields also could help you a lot. So maybe instead of having classification level 1, maybe we could just simply have a subcontractor as the basis for the slicing the data in our cost classification more quickly. And we can choose one by one or clear all selection. And not to forget at the end, maybe just to change the title to tendering so that we have clear idea what is the type of data that is present in this dashboard. Before we publish it, let's just change the titles in some of these visuals as well. So since this is not segregated by the cost supplement anymore, it would be then good to just simply go to the visualization tab, to general data, and simply change the title of this visual to total cost by subcontractor, for instance. This one is still segregated by the classification items. It will be again customizable even when published so that you can go to lower or higher level of segregation. What we can also do here, we can go and change the title to total cost by floor. And basically that's it. We have changed all the visual titles and we can approach publishing and just go to publish, select my workspace and publish it to the cloud platform, Microsoft Power BI. So report is published, so we can just simply go to the link, open report in the Power BI cloud platform. And here we can activate the viewer visual as well, and it will be automatically activated in this platform. If we want to publish it, just simply go to File, Embed Report, Publish to Web. Power BI platform will just quickly create a public link that you can copy. You can test it by simply going to the new tab, copying it. Now we're going to simply save this link in our CDE environment. So we're going back to model, to our BEXEL CDE, and going to the reports part. Here we already have some important Power BI reports, so we're going to add new report that will be named rendering package 01. And this report will be now available to all the users that have defined access to that specific project. The person that has the access to this report then will be able to just simply click and open it. Everybody's going to be able to just simply navigate through the model and to use the data that you specified in your customized report. If you go to F11, we're going to go to full screen and we will have very clear picture about our project. So in this case, maybe we can just navigate by phases if we want to narrow down the search of our cost and to see how much every part of the building will cost basically, and to see exactly which subcontractors will be present there, in which floors the works are going to be executed, and all these things that we were actually specifying in the Power BI report itself, or we can maybe simply color code it by subcontractors, for example, and then have coordinated organization of our data with the slicers and groups of works that are specified in the other visuals as well, and as well as in the model. So we can see, let's say for facade systems, exactly which cost items on which floor are gonna, how much they're gonna cost, what are the quantities, and so on. So we can basically just go and narrow down the search to the lowest level of organization. Again, you could utilize the slicers that we also showed before. So maybe we can just focus on the 16th floor and see, let's say that we are going to have 3 different subcontractors on this floor. We're going to see the price of works of this floor. We can combine these slicers as well. So we can say, okay, 16th floor, for instance, and just the facade systems subcontractor, and to see exactly, to narrow down the search and to see which groups are going to be executed, what are the quantities and cost of those works. Of course, you can always clear these filters. And yes, this is published Power BI report, but we still have integrated BEXEL Viewer with some of the important functionalities of the viewer itself that were explained by our colleague, Elena. We can, for example, try animation functionality in the Power BI report itself. Of course, this is just the basic animation functionality. We will talk on the next regular webinar session about this more advanced animation module, which will be available in the viewer itself. But for now, we're going to just simply try this animation functionality within the Power BI report. So the person who is, for instance, checking the tender could also see, in this case, preliminary schedule of works. So we can see which subcontractor is going to be included in which part of the construction, what is the expected sequence of work, which could also help in the tendering process by simply having the access to this sort of data. And that would be all for today's session. At the end, I would like to thank you for your attention and invite you to join us for the next webinar on July 26th at our regular time on the last Wednesday of the month, where we will continue talking about the new integrated BIM workflows. Have a nice day.